being brought here this evening. And if we do, then I think we can continue down this path. But if that's not something that we're even in a position that we're gonna be comfortable doing, we can talk about this till we're blue in the face, and it's not gonna go anywhere.
Can I mention one more item? The other item I'd love to mention is that this is not a week ago Monday was not the first time the court team saw this. We presented back in March, where we came with the exact same 4 end result statements, and the court team didn't have an issue. Had they had an issue at that time, we could have went back to the communication team, we could have presented something different, came up with new words as a group, etc. We didn't opt to do that because nobody seemed to have an issue with it that evening.
Yeah.
And if I could, I'd just like to say that with all of our research, that was a glaring thing that I remember coming out, that people said, that's more, it's not searching the web, it's not getting an email, it's not checking STI, this is communication, verbal communication. Granted, it's not two-way, and there's all kinds of options out there. I spoke with the superintendent of River Forest, and they use it 2 and 3 times a week, they love it. Don't forget to send in your packet, your registration packet, blah, blah, blah. Unlimited calls, 2 different groups. There's so much stuff out there that unfortunately, I guess the court committee didn't see that.
It's not, the court team didn't have an
That was the impression I
The
got.
court team didn't have an issue with using the automated phone system. The court team's point was, you look at end result statement number 1, is to look at how do we best communicate with our stakeholders, whatever that might mean. So it wasn't saying that the court team didn't, and I can't speak for every member of the court team. It's not that every member, it's not that the court team felt that the automated phone system was not something that ultimately would be the right thing to use more extensively, yada, 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 but that it wasn't a foregone conclusion that was the answer to the issue of communication.
But again, you could take away the electronic communication system and say that, throw that into action.
The same thing could be said
That's
there.
exactly what
Right.
Mark had said. So, again, I
Just
find
for
that.
clarification, Karen is on the communication
Right.
thing, so.
But to me, it still brings us back to the point in hand. What the board's responsibility this evening is to accept this or consider a change to it.
Right.
Yeah,
So
and we're doing this,
that's the bottom
this is
line.
not, and I think I've got to interject here on the process here. We have done this before, all right? So the last time it came to the board, there was also a change at the board level. And, this is not a big deal kind of change. It's a format issue as to how you want to address it, either as a step within another plan or as a modified end result statement in and of itself that basically accomplishes the same thing. What Mark is bringing here is as a board member, and when we talked about this, you're bringing this as a board member tonight,
Correct.
not as a member of the communication team,
And
not as a member of the core team.
Right.
And so this is not a huge issue. I mean,
So
either
do we
way,
need to make a
we would
motion
do
one
it.
way or the other?
No, but just let me finish. So the, either way that we do it, I mean, this isn't changing the meaning of what the core team is conveying to the board. It was just a format thing. So that's the important thing to remember tonight, is that the board has plenary power to make these kind of changes. They are not, this is not a big scale thing. And it's not worth, in my opinion, it's 6 of one, it's half a dozen the other. If people are comfortable with leaving it as a result, I'm comfortable with that, and
See,
we should just
I
do
have to
it.
disagree, because if they had came back and added it as an action step, a
Well,
specific, then I could
that's-
live with it.
That's what I'm gonna recommend next, is if a third alternative is that you eliminate it as an end result statement and stay in line with what the court team thought, and then physically take these words and add them right into
Right.
end result statement number
That's
1.
what I was
So
saying.
they're right in there.
Isn't that what you can't do?
Well, what you're
Submit?
proposing,
Hold it
hold
right
on,
in there.
but can we back up a second? What you propose, though, is a different wording of end result statement number 3 than what was in here, right? It was to,
If we keep end result number 3.
No, right.
If we opt not to and go with the court team's thought that this is part of end result number 1, then let's physically take the original words as written and move them directly into end result statement number 1.
Can't some of these fit
I would
into
take the whole
either end
thing.
result 4
I
or
would-
end result
I would-
1?
I
I
would
mean,
take-
all these things and just put the words
I would
wherever they
take
go?
the whole thing and put it right into end result number 1.
well, I
That'd
think,
be right
and what the
recommendation.
curriculum counselor did talk about was that the action steps that are under there, this is my recollection, belonged in, I can't remember which one, action, end result number 1 or number 2, that it really belonged as an action step within there.
These actually are steps that you would take directly for the automated phone system.
No, I understand. My point is that we did discuss as a core team taking essentially end result number 3 and making it an action step within 1 or 2.
Then are you recommending, am I hearing you correct, you're recommending that we actually take these words and move them to end result?
I'm not making a I'm not making a
We're
recommendation.
just
I
taking,
just-
if we're just taking words and moving them around, how does that differ from just giving it its own number?
I think that the hang up, and again, I can't go back and get into the minds of the 25 people who were there, but the hang up was around that we would have an end result that was to expand the phone system, right? As
So
opposed
that
to,
would,
as
that would
opposed to
force
as
the
Mark,
district
as
or
opposed,
whoever
right, as
to
opposed
expand
to
it, whether they felt
Mark's
the need
wording
to
to
or
say
not.
explore it and
Utilize.
yeah, da-da-da, right?
Well, that would be to keep it, that would be with the intent of
They
keeping
have-
it as an end result
They have
statement.
the option to do it.
If it's not to do that, then again, my recommendation would be a third one, Leandra, and that would be to take the original words and move them right in there. This way it's ensured that they're in there
As an action step.
as an action step, correct?
Yeah, and I think all these are friendly amendment things. The one thing that the core team, that I don't think we should lose sight of, is that this should not be a freestanding as written. That it doesn't include the research that needs to be done on whether it should be expanded or not. But I think what we don't want to happen is that this idea be lost, because it's a very valuable
Yep.
thing that we should be considering. So, I think we're, either way, whatever people are comfortable with is fine, but it just cannot be left as it was originally written, because again, it's kind of like just
Right.
out there without the context for how you would expand it.
So we could just say explore the possible expansion, and would that satisfy
Well, I think
both
that's what Mark
sides?
suggested.
Pretty close to
But you-
possible.
But you suggested in doing what with it? I'm still confused if you want it, if it's gonna stay as an end result statement, or if the end
I
result
am
statement.
fine with either it staying as its own end result statement with modified words, or taking the original terminology and moving directly, as long as the core team felt like it's part of number 1, we take it and move it directly into number
Okay,
1.
but move what?
The,
Help me-
the
help me-
words as you see them.
But which words? Are
The
we
words
moving the
is-
whole plan?
Yes,
Or-
yes, everything.
The action plan,
The whole action,
or action
the whole
step.
end result statement and action plans, action steps, as they're now called. The whole end result statement number 3, as you see it, because I've got a modified version, and the action steps would all move under end result number 1.
Mark, I think you're better with your first suggestion.
I think so too.
I'd be more comfortable with that than with taking.
It just gets clumsy
Right.
with the rest of it.
So the first recommendation then would be to leave end result statement number 3 in, but rephrase it to say explore.
Here's the,
The district's
Here are the words.
utilization.
Explore the expansion of the district's utilization of the automated outbound phone communication system, utilizing the research found under end result statement 1. And then keep the steps. Yeah, this is not a big deal.
Right.
Either way, it's
That's why I said, for me, it boils down to whether or not the board is comfortable with
All right, I'm
making the
comfortable.
change or not.
I'm comfortable.
And,
Like that, change.
just changing the end
Okay.
result statement number 3 and leaving it in with the revised wording.
Yes.
So explore the expansion of the district's utilization of the automated outbound phone communication system, utilizing the research found under end result statement number 1. All right, so that's what we're going with. And all the steps are the same, am I correct? Without, I know you haven't been read here, Mark,
yes.
but are they exactly the same as what's in here?
I just, yes.
Okay,
Because I changed the font, but I went in font about the strike through.
okay.
I won't go along with the different color.